Hi. Hold on. Hi, everybody. Welcome, weary traveler from Bizarro World. You gradually pass the Twilight Zone. That place is a train wreck, ain't it? You were thrown into a wall.
I love it! You guys are so great!
Then you took the ride and rolled right into the most offensive church this side of the universe. Welcome to my humble sage cave. Welcome. What we do here at this most amazing place, we read this great ass book. It's called God Said, because God did not say that shit. And we are on part 2 of this book, and it's called Jesus Who, you know, because apparently people don't know him. So I'm going to introduce you to my husband. His name is Jesus. He's a great guy. Very, very good. What am I doing in life? Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. So, we are on chapter 2. No, chapter 19 of book 2. We are on the first chapter. Yeah, it would be the first chapter of the story of my husband, Jesus. Yeah, he's a good guy. I know him. Haha, because I do. So, as you are piling into my sage cave, I am going to go pick up some other people. So, maybe I'm not going to pick up other people. Yeah, I might just not pick up other people. Yeah. So, I noticed a few of you are in here. Hello. Welcome to my cave. Wait, something's happening. Yep. Okay. Anyway. Hey, Neil. Welcome to the cave. We are on chapter 19 of this great book. And where we left off, Jesus was telling people to maim themselves permanently because it's better to go to heaven extremely maimed than go to hell in one piece. But if you're smart, you just won't have to maim yourself permanently. Hey, Miss Muddy, welcome to the Sage Cave. Oh yeah, and then he was talking about if your brother is an idiot, go tell everybody. And then if he doesn't listen, handle BI. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up, drunken wizard? How are you? Oh, everybody say hi to Henry. He just got his apartment today. He moves in Tuesday. So we're congratulating Henry. He got his apartment. He moves in Tuesday. So, we are on chapter 19. So, I'm going to go ahead and start chapter 19. Okay. But it came about when Jesus had finished speaking, he departed from Galilee and came to the region of Judea beyond the Jordan. And great multitudes followed his shiny piles of shit, and he healed them from there. And some of these terrible ass God people came testing him, saying, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife?" Henry, everybody says congratulations and they love you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So these terrible ass God people are trying to trip Jesus up on word magic. Word magic is fucking real. Learn it. Okay. So they were trying to trip him up. Oh, is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for any reason? And Jesus said, "Have you not read, he who is, wait, and he answered and said, have you not read that he who created them from the beginning made them male and female? And for this cause, a man shall leave his father and his father and mother, and shall leave his father and mother, and cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one, like the Spice Girls song. When two become one. Yeah. Consequently, they are no longer two, but they are one. And what therefore God has joined together, no man separate. And they said to him, why then did Moses command he give her a certificate of divorce? And Jesus was like, because y'all are fucking dumb and wouldn't shut up, is about, the crux of it. You guys don't know how to shut up. And y'all wanted some strange, but y'all was married. So then Moses was like, fine, whatever you want, do it that way. But listen, I'm telling you, he who divorces his wife, except for immorality, I don't know that fucking word. Immortality? That's not a thing. Immorality. Is that the word? I'm guessing that's the word. Anyway. And marries another woman, commits adultery. And his disciples said, if the relationship of man with his wife is like this, it is better to not marry. Look, if we can't get some strange on the side, we can't marry no women. Because we're marrying women for tradition. But if we can't get no strange, that sucks. But Jesus said, not all men can accept not getting strange, but only to those whom it has been given. the need to not want strange. For there are eunuchs who were born that way from their mother's womb, and there are eunuchs who are made eunuchs by men, and there are also eunuchs who did it to themselves for the sake of heaven. He who is able to accept this, let him accept it. Then some children were brought to him, that he might lay their hands on them and pray. But the disciples were like, "Get the hell away, it's our Jesus. We don't know you. That's our purse." And then kicked them all in the nuts. No, that's what happened on Family Guy. That Jesus didn't kick people in the nuts. But he did tell them to back the fuck off, because who the fuck are they? And Jesus said, "Who are you that you get to tell me what I can do? Because I'm pretty sure, no, you can't. If I want to touch people, I'm going to touch them, no matter what you say. So shut the fuck up. Thank you." The kingdom of heaven belongs to these children. And after laying hands on them, he departed from there. And behold, one came to him and said, "Teacher, what good thing may I do to, hold on. Hold on. Teacher, what good shall I do that I may gain eternal life?" And Jesus said, "Why are you asking me about what is good? There is only one who is good. But if you wish to enter into life, keep the commandment." And he was like, "Which ones?" And Jesus was like, "You don't murder, you don't commit adultery, you don't steal, you don't bear false witness, you honor your father and mother, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself." And the young man, "Hi, Debs. Welcome." And the little guy was like, "But I've done this. What am I going to do?" And Jesus said, "Go sell your shit and give it to the poor." Yeah, do that. And little dude was like, "Yeah, but I got a PlayStation 5. I'm not giving that to somebody that can't afford a PlayStation 5. And then Jesus was like, "You see this asshole? This is why rich people can't go to heaven, because they don't know." Thank you, Muddy. The groundhogs had babies and the raccoons had babies. So now I'm feeding 5 groundhogs. Oh, and the possum had a baby. So I'm feeding 5 groundhogs, 3 possum, and I think 10 raccoons, because there's babies again. Yeah, lick my stream. Don't lick my stream, it's probably pee. Just saying. Okay. So yeah, then Jesus is like, "This is why rich people can't go to heaven, because they're too worried about shit that don't matter." And then stupid Peter was like, then who can be saved? Because, PlayStation 5 is like a real thing and everybody wants one. And then Jesus said, with men, it is impossible to get rid of your PlayStation 5. But if you're doing it for God, it shouldn't even matter. And then Jesus was like, listen, you have followed me in the generation when the Son of Man will sit on his glorious throne. You also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging these terrible ass God people. And everyone who has left houses, or brothers, or sisters, or anybody shall receive many times as much and shall inherit eternal life. Here we go. This is when Jesus tells us about the front of the line. But many who think they are going to be first will be in back of line. They go to purgatory. They have good time. No, I'm just kidding. They have bad time. But those of us weirdos that are in the front of line have good time and to party with God. It's a good time. Get your dancing shoes on before you die. Sleep in those mofos. You never know what's going to happen. And yeah,
I'm going to let that out for walk.
you're going for a walk. Okay.
I'll do that.
I'll see you when you get back. I had some cottage cheese because I fucking love that shit. Man, cottage cheese is life. I'm not even gonna lie. Dustin bought me a whole big tub and I ate half of it in one sitting. And after I'm done with this, I'm gonna eat the other half in one sitting. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about my 12 cats. Oh yeah, hold on. There's Maynard, Jack, Lucky, Blue, Captain, Spaz, Willow, Rose, Charlie, Sam, Luchador, and there's a black one we haven't given a name yet. Yeah. I got a gang of cats, a gang of raccoons, a gang of groundhogs, and a gang of possums. Yes. Yes, I do. It's not good any other way. Is that gross that I eat cottage cheese like that? Because I do. I love that shit, man. Well, it might be meowsis. Oasis. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I get it. Haha. It's not Oasis. I can't think of a name for her. Maybe Princess, something like that. It's real cute. No, no. I don't put any fruit in my cottage cheese. Mm-mm. I just eat it. Oh, that's a great idea. That's exactly what I'm going to name her. I'm going to name her Casper. But now we have to figure out how to get me how to get me dog food and cat food, and I don't even know what groundhogs eat. I'm trying to grow tomatoes for them. But do you guys want to smoke this bowl with me? Smoke this. I packed this bowl for two. I'm gonna want to smoke it with you. Miss Muddy, are you joining? Okay. So, we're going to go to chapter 20. Okay. Okay, so Jesus is like, you at the front of the line think you're going to be at back of line. And if you think you're going to party with God at front of line, you are going to back of line. And God never gets to back of line because he parties at front of line. For the kingdom of heaven, chapter 20. For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire laborers for his thing. So he made a price, like, I'll pay you 15 shekels. So he went out in the morning and hired some people for 15 shekels. And then he went out in the evening and hired some people or in the afternoon, he hired some people for 15 shekels. And then he went out at dinner time and also was like 15. And they was like, bet, boss. And then when it came time to pay, he paid the last guys first and the first guys last. And the first guys were like, we should get more. And he was like, but you wanted 15. And they were like, but we've been here all day. And they have not been here all day. And he's like, the deal is a deal and we all have good time. Go spend your money at the bar. And they were like, we're going to go spend our money at the bar. And as Jesus was about to go to Jerusalem, can I just skip the rest of this? Can I just skip the rest of it? This is gonna give me high blood pressure. I'm getting diabetes. I don't know what's happening, but I don't want to read it. Okay, here we go. This is when the lessons of lessons come. And probably where you'll see me break down in tears. Okay. And as Jesus was about to go to Jerusalem, he took the 12 disciples by themselves on the way, and he said to them, "Behold, we are going to the place, and the Son of Man will be delivered to these terrible ass God people, and they will condemn him to death. They're going to delete me from my own dad's YouTube, and I'm happy about it. I've been speeding up my whole demise this whole time, and I'm ready, because I told you the other day, how long am I going to deal with this shit? Turns out it's right about now. Yeah, that's the answer, right about now. And they will deliver me, or the Son of God, that guy, to the Gentiles to mock and scourge and crucify him. And on the third day, which is 420, by the way, I just want everybody to know 420 is Resurrection Day. I don't want to read it. Okay. So anyway, the third day, 420, he will be raised up. Then the mother of the sons of Zebedee, so the sons of Thunder's mom, came to talk to Jesus, like, can my sons be the best? And Jesus, like, no, that's not my decision. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Das Babies next to me. Because Das Babies, you know, not these two assholes. It's going to be Das Babies. And then he said, y'all don't even know what you're talking about. Listen, are you able to drink the cup that I am about to drink? And they were like, yes. These are motherfucking liars. These are liars. There's. Shut up, Nikki. Shut up. Read the book. I'm reading the book. Read the fucking book. I don't want to. This seriously giving me split personalities. I am having a problem. Okay. We're doing it. We're doing it. Okay. So they were like, yeah, we can do that. And he said, yeah, you're going to. But to sit on my right or left, as I told your mom, it's going to be Das Babies. And hearing this, the 10 became indignant. But Jesus was like, come here, assholes. You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord over them, and their great men exercise authority. It is not among you, but whoever wishes to become great among you shall be your servant. And whomever wishes to be first will be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Okay. And as they were going out from Jericho, a great multitude again was following Jesus, shining piles of shit. And behold, two blind men sat sitting by the road, hearing Jesus was coming. They immediately started calling for him, right? And the multitude was like, shh, he don't know you. That's his purse. Anyway, shut up. Don't even say it. I need to laugh or I'm gonna fucking cry. I can feel it coming. Look, I'm trying not to cry. This is the worst part of this book. And we gotta read it 3 more times. I'm having a problem. Can we okay, let me get through this. There's like a paragraph left. And then I need to take a smoke break because I'm gonna hyperventilate. I'm not gonna hyperventilate, but this is seriously giving me emotional issues right now. This is why I did not want to read this book. But CNA provoked me until I did. So I'm blaming you, drunken wizard. This is all your fault. So they were telling them to be quiet, but they got louder. And Jesus turned around and said, "What can I do for you today, sirs?" And they were like, "We want to see what the sand looks like. Like we can feel it, but we don't exactly know. And we're surrounded by it, so we should at least know what it looks like." Right? And Jesus is like, "That is a very valid point." Okay. So moved with compassion, Jesus touched their eyes, and immediately they were open and they saw what the sand looked like. Okay. Okay, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad. And then, how many minutes? Okay, we're going to do chapter 21. And I hope you guys are okay with me having a literal visceral reaction to my husband's murder. Because, I was baptized, so Jesus is my husband. So I feel like I can tell his story very dramatically because the murder of my husband is terrible. And if you guys have been baptized, he's married to you also. Except for the men, he's your guys' brother. I feel like baptism is like a really big step towards something really big. And the only real big step in life there is marriage. Are you leaving? Oh, wait, are you leaving? Are you leaving? Don't leave. Wait, we got more. We got more. And there's actually lessons I can teach in this. Me and my anti-preaching ass. Yeah. No, I was talking to Neil. Is Neil leaving? Now I'm so confused. Never mind. Don't listen to me because I have no idea what's happening. But you said you love us all like you were leaving. So I panicked. Because I can't be alone reading this story. This is one of those stories that you should never be alone because This is one of those take a razor blade to a bathtub with you stories. Or maybe I only feel like that. I've never met anyone else who gets as pissed off about this story as I do. And it's like, why? Why doesn't anybody else have these visceral reactions to this story? And they will read it over and over and over, and it doesn't even mean anything to people. Like, this is absolutely fucking horrendous. They deleted this guy from his own dad's YouTube over jealousy and bullshit that didn't even fucking matter. And nobody gets mad about it. Everybody worships these fucking terrible ass God people like they did something fucking miraculous. They literally murdered God. Literally murdered God. Why do people think these people are special? See, I'm in my soapbox. I'm out of pocket right now. I'm getting high blood pressure. What the fuck is wrong with me? Yeah, maybe that's my problem. What is happening, Miss Muddy, is I'm having a meltdown. I said I didn't want to read this story, but it's CNA's fault. But now that I'm reading it for the third time, they're not vampires anymore. Now they can just be called terrible ass God people because they're no longer split in two. And the story that we're in on the David side, they're still split in two. They're two different people because David made them split in half. It was a whole thing. Yeah, and I need to get over this story. So I need to read it again so I can desensitize myself to this terrible shit. But they're going towards the end of this story are lessons that everybody gets wrong that I feel like I should correct because you guys are smart enough to handle it. Which is maybe another reason that I have to read this story because I say things that are valid. Right? Yeah. Even a pig has clout. Somebody told me that once, and I was like, you spelled sage wrong. But I was thinking about that. Maybe I do need to clean my cave and rearrange. But what do you guys think so far about Jesus like expediting his demise? Which I also blame Jesus for a lot of this also because he's expediting his demise. Like he's just seriously going around doing stupid shit so these people get mad at him. He's just like fucking the whole world off. But we are going to the finale of his tour. That's when he's got his Stone Cold vest on and his wrestling boots, and he's like Stone Cold stunning the Pharisees and shit. He even gave the Sadducees the rock bottom. It was like a whole thing. He was singing Limp Bizkit. He's like, dun, 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 dun. It was like a whole thing. I'm telling you. And the disciples were coming off the ropes. They were flying off the top rope. It was like a whole thing. They were giving the elbow. It was hell in a cell. It was like a thing. Well, technically, they are the mafia. If you think about it, God rolls around doing whatever the fuck he wants. And Jesus rolls around doing whatever the fuck ever he wants. And he's literally having his tour dates inside the churches on Sabbath. Jesus gives no shits, dude. All of his concerts are on the Sabbath. Have you noticed that? He goes into the church and talks mad shit. And remember, I am from the ghetto. I am ghetto. And I only know ghetto things. So I can relate this Bible to life. And my life is filled with drug dealers and juggalos. Both are hard ass people. My therapist told me that today. She told me that today. Just do something for 10 minutes every day. And I was like, I can't even do things for 1 minute any day. But she told me, you have to. And then Dustin was also getting really mad at me about the party pen. It's like, you gotta clean it up. I was like, it's principle. And he was like, what the fuck does that have to do with the clean house and being a good wife? And I said, probably nothing, but it's principle. Well, my therapist said, do one thing for 10 minutes. So you can say a therapist told you you can do one thing for 10 minutes. But what if I did 10 minutes throughout the day? See, that's what I need to work on. 10 minutes at a time throughout the day. Yeah, I'm going to work on that. And then you guys can berate me on Fridays when I tell you I didn't do shit. Then you can berate me and be like, you are a fucking shithead. And I'll be like, I am a fucking shithead. Yeah, therapist told you. Well, a therapist told me and I told you, you can just consider me a therapist, at least for that excuse. Well, therapists need therapists because they deal with crazy ass shit like me. I have two therapists. Counselors are a scam. Counselors are a scam. Therapists are very reasonable people. You got to be reasonable. chicken or vaporizer. No, I don't use those vaporizers. I like to smoke joints, but all I have is this bowl. All right, let's go on to chapter 21. Okay. Okay. And when they had approached Jerusalem and had come to Bethphage, Bethphage, to the Mount Olives, which I swear is a bar. Anyway, then Jesus sent two disciples, saying, "Go into the village over there, and immediately you will find a donkey and a colt with her. Untie them and bring them to me. And if anyone says something, be like, God, God Jr." Anyways, God Jr. needs them, and immediately he will send them. Now, this took place. What was spoken through the prophet might be fulfilled, saying, "Say to the daughter of Zion," which is the city of David. Any Zionists that might be watching, it's the city of David. Yeah, you don't got to search for it. It is not in America. It is the city of David, literally. Literally, we read it in the book. David, we just passed it because it. Anyway, Zion is the city of David. You could just go there. Behold, your king is coming to you, gentle and mounted on a donkey, even on a colt, the foal of a beast of burden. That is my favorite Rolling Stone song. I'll never be your beast of burden. I walk for miles, my feet hurt. Anyway, best Rolling Stone song. And the disciples went and did just like Jesus said, and brought the donkey and laid on them their garments on which he sat. And most of the multitude, shut up, Nikki. Most of the multitude spread their garments on the road. So everybody got naked and gave Jesus their clothes. And some were cutting branches from the trees and spreading them on the road. And the multitudes were gathering before him, saying, hold on, Baruch Shep Adonai. My mom told me that's Jew for blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest. Look, his name went from Jesus to Emmanuel to Hosanna. Pick a fucking name and stick with it, man. And when he had entered Jerusalem, all the city was stirred, saying, "Who is this? Who is this guy?" And the multitudes were saying, This is the prophet Jesus from Nazareth in Galilee. And Jesus entered the temple. Okay, so Jesus is getting ready to start his tour. So his disciples were giving him his wrestling boots. They were giving him his stone cold vest. They gave him the Rock's eyebrow. And they were running up there, right? And Jesus came in there. And all you hear is Limp Biscuits. Dun, 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 dun. Right? And then the curtains open. And Jesus like, just one of those days. And then just starts busting everybody's ass. He's stone cold stunning people. He's giving the Sadducees a rock bottom. He's like doing the Undertaker shit, like pure striking in the corner. And then he choke slammed one of them. And then out of nowhere, he tombstone pile drives the head Sadducees. And then everybody was freaking out and running out of there. And then the disciples and the multitude were like, fuck yeah, we love his concert. Yeah, it was good. And then, wait. And the blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them. But when the chief priests, when these terrible ass God people saw the wonderful things he had done, and the children who were crying in the temple, saying, Hosanna, the son of David, they became indignant and said to him, do you hear what these are saying? And Jesus was like, yeah, have you ever read Das Bible? Like, these guys are telling the truth because the whole babes out of the mouth of babes thing, whatever. And then he left them, mic drop, and went out to the city Bethany and lodged there. Now, in the morning, when he returned to the city, he became hungry. Jesus is not a nice guy. He's not the nice guy. Anyway. So, seeing a lone fig tree by the road, he came to it and found nothing in it except for leaves. And he said, you're going to die forever. And the thing died forever. And the disciples saw this and was like, he's not supposed to kill anything. No, that's not what they said. They said, how did the fig tree wither at once? And Jesus said, listen, I'm telling you, if you have faith and do not doubt, you shall only do what was done to the fig tree. But even if you say to this mountain, be taken up and go that way, it shall happen. In all things you ask in prayer, believing you shall receive. And when he had come to the temple, these terrible ass God people came to him as he was teaching and said, that's raccoons. What are you doing? You guys are so No, you guys can't come in. You're not supposed to be in here. Come on. Hi. Okay. Okay. Here, I'll give you a little bit of food. No, you're not supposed to be in the house. Go on. Go on. You can't be in the house. They are so fun. I love those guys. He almost let me pet him and he held my hand. They're such nice boys. They're good. They're good boys. Okay. Okay. Now, he had come into the temple, and these terrible ass God people came as he was teaching and said, "By what authority do you do these things?" And Jesus said, "I will ask you one thing." See, this is so aggravating. Why do you answer a question with a question? But anyways, he said, "I will tell you, but the baptism of John was from what source? From heaven or man?" And they began to cluck like chicken heads, like bark, 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 bark. And they didn't know the answer. So they told Jesus, "We don't know the answer." And he's like, "Well, then I'm not telling you." But then he's like, "But what do you guys think? A man had two sons, and he came to the first and said, 'Hey, will you go work?' And he was like, 'Yeah,' but he played his PlayStation instead. And he came to the second and said, 'Will you do it?' And he's like, 'No, not yet.' So afterwards, he afterward regretted it and went. Which of the two did the will of the Father?" And they said, "The second one." And Jesus is like, "Listen, I'm telling you, tax the fucking weirdos that are not accepted are going to heaven before you motherfuckers." Front of line and back of line, he tells you, these are the line. And you are going to back of line, sir. For John came to you in the way of righteousness, and you did not believe him. But the tax gatherers and the harlots believed him. And you, feeling this, did not even feel remorse afterward so as to believe him. I got another one for you. Here's a riddle. There was a landowner who planted a vineyard and put a wall around it and dug a wine press and built a tower and rented it out to vine growers and went on a journey. And when it was time to collect the stuff, he sent a guy to go collect it. but they beat that guy up and killed him. So he sent another one, and they beat him up and killed him. And then he was like, well, surely if I send my son, they would believe that. They would let him live. But no, they beat him up and killed him also. And then Jesus is like, what would that landowner do when he gets back and everybody's dead? What would he do? Hold on. Throw him out. They said to them, he will bring those wretched to an end and will rent out the vineyard to other wine growers who will pay him the proceeds. And Jesus said, did you ever read in the scriptures the stone which the builder refuses becomes the key cornerstone? It's Bob Marley. And it came about from the Lord, and it's marvelous in our eyes. Therefore, listen, I'm telling you, the kingdom of God will be taken from you and given to a nation producing the fruit. And he who falls on this stone will be broken to pieces, but whomever it falls, it will scatter him like dust. So, Jesus is going to break you. Either way, you're going to be broken. You're going to either be in pieces or you are literally going to end up nothing until Jesus puts you back together. And when these terrible ass God people heard these parables, he knew they were talking about them. And when they sought to seize him, they feared the multitudes because they beheld him as a prophet. And that is the end of that. So let's have some Q&A, CNA. And the next lesson is going to be a good one. Back of line indeed. Weed, vapes, and cigars. Oh. Those vapes make me ignorantly high. I hate it. It's not even a fun high. It was a good time. Haha. Today was good. The next few days might be terrible. You should show up the next few days, CNA, because it's going to be the demise of my husband. So what do you guys think about this? Miss Muddy, what do you think? Is she not here anymore? About Jesus and his shit talking tour so far. What do you think about his post finale? I love you too. You guys are so amazing. I need to take a smoke break. Smoke break. I think people try to make them a franchise. Bible hustlers. Bible hustlers make God a franchise. No, they are crying teenagers. These terrible ass God people do nothing but fucking complain. Nothing is good for these people. God gives them everything they want and they still find a reason to fucking complain. I hate these people. They do nothing but cry, lie, cheat, and steal. They're terrible ass fucking people. These people in the Bible. These vampire cockroaches, rat snakes with cockroach legs. These people are terrible. You know, they made God cry. And that seems like it's a reason to not appreciate these people. And then they literally killed him. I'm sorry, but that's not a forgivable thing. Yes, same exact shit. But, 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 we're making it through, and Jesus is making us giggle because he has balls the size of coconuts and they're made of steel. Like, Jesus is a boss. He's like God level troll. You know what? Jesus is a troll to these terrible ass God people. Jesus trolls these people for fun. Think about it. Jesus is a troll. The day I made God cry was the day God finally said goodbye. Yeah, will you ship some dog food to the US? Or you could just go to Monroe, Michigan with some dog food and I'll meet you there and we can shop at the Weed Mall in Monroe, Michigan. It's like 4 hours from my house in that direction. I don't know any other lyrics. I just made that up because it rhymed. But, you know, it sounds like could be one of those Waylon Jennings songs or something. Uh, or the guy that sings, he stopped loving her today. Who's that guy? Um, Damn, who sings that song? I don't remember. Now I want to know who sings that. I'm gonna ask Google or um, YouTube. Watch, I'm gonna know it and be so mad. He stopped loving her today. George Jones didn't know fucking duh. I knew that. Okay. Who's Don Williams? Oh, Neil, you told me. I literally looked that up. Um, mm, mm, oh shit. It's almost time to go to bed. Yeah. So let's hit this bowl. Hey, you know, the Lord does bless weirdos and weirdness. We go to front of line and we're reading about God. And wait till you read about the fun or you hear about the fun side of God. Look, I was reading the Old Testament and Jesus kept coming up. And now that I'm reading the story of Jesus, God keeps coming up. Stop throwing it off, CNA. No, I've never heard that song, but I'm going to look it up. But there's a song by a band called The Upper Room. It's called Upper Room, and it's called Surrounded. They're from Texas, but that is an amazing song, and I will at least listen to that song 3 times a week. Well, okay, I lied. I used to, but lately I've been all into ICP. Actually, all of us have been a blessing because we all go into the world with different eyes every time we come here. Yeah, or at least I do. I see things a lot differently after we have these sessions. I feel better. Even today and tomorrow and the next day, I'll feel better, even though this story makes me want to take a bath with razor blades. But you guys make it worth it. Oh, hold on. I know, yes, Jesus loves me in sign language. I learned it when I was a kid. It's like, yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Because the Bible tells me so. Something like that. I remember that. Or joy to the world, the teacher's dead. We cut right off her head. We ripped up all our homework. Something, something, something. Do you guys remember that song? Maybe that was only like my generation thing. And I bet none of my generation even remembers that song. Are you talking about the sign language, Miss Muddy? Because I can't believe I remember that. Of all the things I don't remember, I remember the weirdest shit. God does not kill babies. I thought that's why this book's called God Said What? Because God did not say that shit. CNA, are you going to be here for a while? Like tonight, right now, or no? Because we can go over this stupid ass phone call of why I named my Bible this in the first place. Neil watched it with me the last time we didn't have shit to do. Do you remember that phone call, Neil? How much did I lose my fucking mind about what that lady was saying? Because he doesn't say that. Do you want to watch this video? Look, Neil, tell him about this video. This fucking phone call. Neil. Yeah, that's his fucking name. Don't throw me off, you damn troll. Look, now Neil's not going to answer about this phone call. Ooh. You don't remember at all? Well, sweet. Do you guys want to watch it? Because I'll gladly fucking watch it with you. But then I'm not going to be able to see chat. I don't know what's happening in life. Jody Hildebrandt phone call. Fuck this lady. I want to punch this lady in the vagina. Okay.
Nobody wants the truth. Nobody wants the truth.
Okay. I hate this lady. She is aggravating to my soul. Okay. So listen, I'm not going to be able to see chat. No, Neil, we just watched it the other day. Hold on. All right, I'm pressing play.
Because these kids, I told Doug, I woke up, the Spirit told me, it's all the devil. You've seen him. I mean, I've known
Can you hear
for
it?
5 years. You've watched him come at me, come at me, come at me, come at me.
Mm-hmm.
And you're exactly right, because he knows I know what he's doing. And he uses these kids. And he uses all of us as the adults, the parents that don't hold the kids accountable. So now it's abusive to make a kid sleep on the floor. It's abusive, or it's abusive to, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You can't even raise your kids anymore.
So what I'm saying is you're being crucified in public opinion.
Yeah.
So
Neil,
your
I
fear
think it was Neil
has
3.
to be super prepared. And the only way he's going to get prepared is if you push him and ride him.
Okay, I will. I'll call him today.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem really animated. He seems like, the
Yeah,
pictures are going to destroy you. And I'm like, we didn't do that. We didn't do that. Those pictures we did not do. He did that to himself, yes. Did we put it on him and then he rubbed around and cut himself? Yes. But we didn't do that.
They tied this boy down and he got rope burn, and they put cayenne pepper and honey on it and wrapped it in duct tape. When the little boy escaped, he was covered in wounds and duct tape, and it was at this lady's house. And now she's talking about how the devil made her hurt those kids. And then she goes into the Bible. Miss Muddy, you're going to get so mad about this also, because you know the Bible also. But just listen to what this chick does. I'm going to shut my mouth. I'm going to let y'all listen.
Begging God, like, please help me understand why I'm in this. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. And he gave me some information yesterday, and then today really sealed it with some scriptures that share it with you.
Yeah, go ahead. You got it there.
I'm reading the articles of faith by Talmage. This is an excellent
book.
I think everybody should read the book.
Yep, I've read that one. That's pretty deep read in some regards.
It is. It hits all the principles, with a lot of clarity. So I've got a woman that's interested in church, so I've been reading some of this to her as well. So she's
cool.
a Jew, and both her parents are from Jerusalem. So,
really?
Yeah. And she's like,
that's cool.
I believe that Jesus is the Christ, and it's great. So, because
wow, that's neat.
It mixes the Bible and the Book of Mormon at the same time.
That's cool.
So, yeah. So there's a section he's talking about the second coming, and I'm coming from this place. I was just getting ready to move, and all of a sudden I ended up in prison. Like, what in the world?
Yeah.
And, one day you'll know all the details, and it'll all make sense. But if I could talk
Right.
to here.
Right.
But, this is the Lord talking to the disciples. They asked him, like, when shall these things be? Like, when are these going to come to pass? And so he starts talking
Right.
about the last days. And he says that nation shall war against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And then he goes, before all these that he just talked about, they shall lay their hands on you. Now, I have been praying for 5 months, like, express to me, like, what is going on? Like, I'm willing to go there, but please let me go right up. Like if you want me to be there because you want me to be there, then great. I will not resist it at all, but please help me understand. So I read this morning, and I just wept and just thanked him and thanked him and thanked him. It just all click. So he says, but before all the things, nation rising against nation, they shall lay their hands on you. And I'm like,
oh my goodness.
And prosecute you.
You have 1 minute remaining for this call.
Back.
Yep, call me back.
Did you hear that? Okay.
Yeah, call me back.
This is a call from and paid for by
Jody Hildebrandt,
an inmate at Purgatory Correctional Facility. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. If you don't wish to talk, hang up now. Thank you for
Right, Miss Muddy? Yeah.
Hellmate.
Are you there?
Yep, there you are.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the Lord says that first they'll lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And it shall turn to you for a testimony. And then he says, settle it there in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay or resist. And
she's Mormon.
Wow.
So then he says, and ye shall be betrayed by both parents and brethren and kinsfolk and friends. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what's going on. And some of you shall be caused to be put to death, and you shall be hated by all men for my name's sake. And then he goes on.
Now,
and I never read that before, but like I've never been in prison.
I swear I'm gonna shut up. But Jesus said, if you talk about me being the Son of God or anything like that, they're going to kill you. But she's talking about they wrote this and it's all about her hurting kids. So that's what they do, CNA. They take what God and Jesus said and they don't pay attention to the context. They just go with whatever they want to go with. Fuck the context.
But I just read that. I just wept. I mean, the Spirit was like, he just said, this is you.
Yeah.
I read in Mark. So that was in Luke, and I read in Mark.
Didn't we read in Soul, God puts his own evil spirit on people. Of course, God allows evil. He has evil in him. And he puts it on whoever he wants to prove and reprove the people he wants to be on his side.
The same kind of thing, because the Gospels, they wrote similarly. So he said, now the brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father the son. Like the father will betray the son, And the children shall rise up against their parents and shall cause them to be put to death. That statement right there is what's going on with me. The children shall rise up and put parents to death, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
You see right there? She's justifying being in prison because talking about Jesus will get you killed. But she's saying all this is happening to her because she's a victim for abusing children.
Until I cried for an straight, just everything clicked, and I said,
Wow.
I'm happy to go to prison. Because if you continue to
The
read
Mormons are losing their
chapter,
fucking minds.
like, be grateful. If you're in the situation, be grateful because you're
grateful.
And
Wow.
you will be saved. And
wow. Yeah, that's a quite experience to read that from your perspective right now. You know, wow.
So I have just been begging him, like, you've got to explain this to me. Like, I cannot logically figure out what's going on here. And that's it. That's what's going on. And the spirit, I mean, when I feel the spirit, I have two physiological reactions. I get really like shaky, like I'm shivering, like I'm old, or I feel heat, like I have a fever run through me.
Yeah. Wow.
And I was like burning up. It felt like I was burning up, and I was just shaking with gratitude. Like, here's your answer.
CNA, I'm reading the story of Jesus for you. Why are you going back to God? Because, we stopped that story to do this story. You should ask me questions about Jesus because we're in the story of Jesus. Stop trolling my chat, butthole.
Here's what this is.
That's super cool. That's pretty neat. Okay. Pretty neat how that works, how the scriptures can do that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, I have probably every single day just been, trying to logic, trying to understand, trying to be humble, trying to say,
yeah, sure. Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're living up to trying to put the pieces together. Just. Yeah.
Yeah. And in Peter, First Peter, I don't have this one written down. I kind of wrote the other stuff down, so I took it down to the phone. But in First Peter, chapter 4, verses 12 and 19, I can't remember exactly how he says it, but he's like, when you have something happen to you and it just feels like it's random, it's not random. Like this is intentional. It's not just some crazy active events that's going on. This is like intention. And that First Peter chapter 4 was another of the footnotes to refer to, that reinforced all this other stuff. I'm like, wow. This isn't just some crazy random event. This has purpose.
Right.
And then I connected it to my blessing, because my blessing I've been reading like several times a day. The blessing is pretty clear. The first paragraph says, these are words directly to you from your Heavenly Father, and according to your faith and diligence, they'll either be a comfort to you or they won't be. So how much diligence and faith you want to put in them. And then the next paragraph talks about, it says, you are a special spirit, chosen and reserved for these last days and sent forth to the earth in great clouds of glory to share the gospel and prepare the people.
It was Eli who cursed some children for calling him bold. But you know what? That was Eli's thing. And Peter also killed 2 people. He stared them to death. We haven't got there yet. Actually, we're not getting there at all. I'm not reading that shit again. But Peter also killed people.
People for the return of the Savior.
Yeah.
And then it says, one of the reasons you were sent here is to share the gospel. The strongest message you will ever teach is the power of your example. And then he says, through the power of your example in the spoken word, he says, your tongue will be loosed, and you will be able to teach the gospel to far and distant nations. And then
she's a fucking horrible lady.
Through the power of your example and spoken word, you will be a great tool in the hand of the Lord in teaching the gospel to many. So the whole paragraph about an example, I'm like, well, what's a better example than to go to prison unjustly? And then go teach the gospel.
Okay. She's not in prison unjustly. Look her up. Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrand. Look up the video of that little boy and the little girl they couldn't get out of a closet for 5 fucking hours because of what this lady did. This lady and the kids' moms. And just look up the whole thing. They were trying to murder these kids.
The gospel.
Yeah.
Plan on doing
Yeah, and that's super cool that it's Jewish that you've met, and
yeah,
what a neat thing.
Yeah.
Be able to share with her.
I was almost done. I had a guy from a ward that I was staying. I was at their ward. He came over and he gave me a blessing, and he told me probably about 2 months ago. He said, he doesn't know anything about me. He doesn't know about what I do for a living or anything. And he goes, what you've been doing is going to change. You're going to be teaching differently in the next little while.
Wow.
Like, what in the world? I mean, Ryan, I know that sounds crazy, and I still can't put my finger on why it feels this way. But it feels like I was being set up to end up here.
Oh my God.
I know that sounds bizarro. I mean, I should.
God didn't allow it.
Right.
Some
right,
people
but my
decided.
goodness,
You have 1 minute remaining for this
blame
call.
other people.
But it was like everything got taken out of the house, and it's in the storage unit.
It's like blaming people now for Slaves back in the day. We ain't got shit to do with that, and God ain't got shit to do with that. God didn't tell him to, he chose to. That's not God. It's like you choose to drink bourbon. Is that God's fault you get drunk? No, that's your own fault.
So that I could come to jail. It sounds crazy, but it really feels that way. And I don't know if I'm going to be like some kind of example, but when I get out of here, I have a story to tell, and I am going to try to do everything I can to protect the children, because that's what's happening.
No,
kids are being
she's a motherfucking lie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of the kids, anyways, it's a story, but when you come
Yeah.
on about it.
Yeah. Okay, so
All right, that's the end of that bullshit. So, what did you think about that? Yeah, but how much do you think God pays attention? God only pays attention when people call him. Remember, we are a fucking science project, dude. We talk to God. And God only sees people in the light. If you have darkness in you, God doesn't see you at all. But again, we're reading the story of Jesus because you keep asking questions about Jesus. Stop asking questions about God. We're not doing God. How do you know God knew that? You don't know God knew that. How do you know? You don't know what God knows. All we know about God is what we're reading in the Old Testament. And you will see God. And how you see God depends on how you take Das Biblia. But God ain't got nothing to do with any of that shit. Again, it's personal choice. We have personal choice. You pick your decisions. God don't fuck with what you choose. You choose. You choose what you do, and you choose when you find Him, and you choose when you're done doing whatever you're doing. How do you know that a science project has no free will? Because it does. Because if you don't pay attention to it for a while, that shit will get moldy and stale. And then maybe release some kind of gas in your area and kill everybody. Which is what the Jews are trying to do. Kill everybody. Because I said this in the beginning of reading this book. The name of the game is kill the people, kill the God. You know? That's why China wants to kill everybody that doesn't say Xi Jinping is God. That's why North Korea kills people that say Kim Jong, what's his face, isn't God. You know, there's a lot of places like that. Yeah, and CNA, wasn't it you that said, oh yeah, don't take the Bible literally? Or do I take the Bible literally? You're taking it very literally when you ask questions like that you know, obviously I can't answer because we're reading it together. I really do. Just wait till we get to the romantic story. Or did we already read it, Ruth? Man, did we already read Ruth? I bet we did. Mm, mm. Did we read Ruth already? We might not have read Ruth already. But wait till we get to Ruth. That is a love story of all love stories, man. She married her cousin. And I love it. There's a lot of new age preachers that want to be new age and talk new age, but they don't talk like people. You know what I mean? They don't talk like people. They have no idea how people talk. I know how people talk because I'm a people. So I think that the way I read it, I think a lot more people would understand it, especially like the excitement of it. People understand excitement, and this book is uber exciting. Holy shit, it's already midnight? Damn. I gotta call my cats in. They probably won't even come in. So, what's everybody drinking and smoking? No, no. I can sleep through bombings in my sleep. Like, when I go to sleep, it's not even a restful sleep. It's just, I close my eyes and then I wake up. No, ice water, weed. Oh, I don't think I've had ice water in a long time. I should make ice cubes. Do you guys dream? I wake up really angry, though. Like I probably had a lot of bad dreams because I wake up pissed off. It takes me a lot of time to not be pissed off. Hi, everyone. Press like and subscribe. Wasn't my cousin here? Yeah, I do. I wake up real angry. It is kind of funny because I go to bed happy. And I usually spend all my day happy. But for some reason, I just wake up and I'm just real mad. Probably because I'm waking up. But my one therapist said that's a symptom of mania because I have severe mania. I gotta take 2 different psych pills plus my seizure pills, which are also psych pills. Yeah. Good night, Miss Muddy. Okay. Okay. Good night, Miss Muddy. It's time to give the pillow some head and the sheets some ass, Miss Muddy. Have these sweetest dreams ever. I'm guessing all of us should go to bed, huh? Damn, I should drink more water. Well, I was thinking about dropping one pill anyway because I think it's giving me acid reflux real bad. So I haven't been taking it. I I do just kill the stream. I had an intro, but I thought it was real stupid. I'll work on something. And I do, but in my defense, I can't see chat, and it's like behind. Well, I can see chat, but it's kind of like behind a little bit. Well, let me work on it. I'll figure out how to make something different. I got a lot of animal videos, but my animals are real serious. Like, have you seen the animal videos I have? That all my animals are real serious. Funny animal video. Yeah, I could probably do something. Let me try to plan something out. Oh yeah. Neil is making a sandwich, so I can't even hmm. Um do you guys want to watch the Lori Vallow interview? Or is everybody ready to go to bed? Mm-hmm. Ooh, yeah. Tuna sandwich sounds good. Or tuna noodle salad with some boiled eggs in it. Mm. I love tuna noodle salad. I don't know why other people don't love that shit, man. I fucking do. Tuna noodle salad is my favorite. I mean, besides all my other favorites, that's like in the top five. Tuna noodle salad. Mm. So I guess CNA and Neil, are you guys ready for bed, or do you want to watch a Lori Vallow interview? And which one of you didn't press the like button? Or are you guys going to bed? Either way. Either way, I'm going to eat some cottage cheese and live life. But we could watch a Lori Vallow interview, and I could eat cottage cheese at the same time. And we can listen to this crazy lady talk about the Mormon Bible. Lori Vallow interview. Yeah. All right. This is 40 minutes. A 40-minute interview. Are you guys going to be up for 40 minutes? Or are we done? Because 40 minutes, that'll be like 1:30 in the morning. And I don't know what the as you choose is. Is that for the tuna? Tuna noodle salad. Shit sounds so good. I think it was you and me last time we watched this too. But fuck it. We can watch it. Can you see it?
Hi, Lori. How are you? You ready?
Yeah, are any of my people here? Oh, okay. Hi.
Good to see you.
Great. Such a pleasure.
Have a seat. And
Long time coming, huh?
it has been. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
So I want to start with Chad.
Okay.
You told me years ago.
Today is my birthday.
Today is your birthday.
How old do you think that I am?
52.
Oh, how did you know?
I do my research.
You must know a lot.
Yes.
The girls are like, are you turning 25 in my pod? And I was like, no, I'm turning 25 plus 25 plus 2.
There you go.
Do the math.
You told me years ago Chad was the best man you've ever met.
Chad is a very kind person, yes.
Is that still true?
Yes.
So besides his spirituality, what else attracts you to Chad?
He's a wonderful person. Everyone who knows him knows that. You've never met him, right?
I haven't met him, other than when we were in Hawaii.
I'm saying you never met him, talked to him, interacted with him, or...
No,
Yeah.
no. How often are you able to talk with him?
So we aren't really speaking.
By your own choice, or just because it's not allowed from like prison to prison?
Yeah, like the way that the mail works here is very difficult.
I see.
So we're only allowed to get postcards. Like you can send a letter to the jail itself, and so there's difficulties within that.
But you still love him,
Absolutely, yeah.
and you've said you'll be exonerated, and he will too.
Absolutely, we will.
Will that be before he's executed?
Yes, Nate, before he's executed. You're well aware, I know that you are LDS as well as I am, right? And you're well aware that the 3 Nephites in 3 Nephi 28 were given the death penalty 7 times.
She killed her daughter, her son, and then buried them on her husband's property. It's Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. You should look them up.
They were arrested after Jesus personally translated them, okay? They were arrested, convicted, and given the death penalty 7 times. And where are they today?
I don't know.
They're still wandering the earth.
Yeah.
They didn't get executed.
So
They didn't get the death penalty. And there's 220 people in this country who have been on death row and have been exonerated and gone home.
do you think it'll be soon then?
I think it'll be in the Lord's time. I know that it will be in the Lord's time. And when you say the word soon, if you've ever watched The Chosen or dealt with Jesus at all, you know that soon is a relative term because 1,000 years are a day to him.
So does it bother you though that in Chad's trial he blamed it on you and Alex?
So now that I know the judicial system and now that I have been my own attorney and how things work, and I've said this before in an interview, it's so different what goes on behind the scenes in a high profile case. Okay? There's strategies going on, there's defenses going on, there's all these things going on that you wish, like, why can't we just go in and tell our side of the story? The attorneys are like, you can't do that. We have to come up with the defense, and we have to do this, and we have to do this, and like, why don't we just go? Why isn't it, you thought, like, if you've never been in the judicial system, which I have.
I didn't mean to say it like that, but you should look her up. It's fucking wild.
Before, you thought they get to tell their side of the story, what they think happened. You get to go in and tell your side of the story of what happened, and then the jury gets to decide. And that's not what happens. Not what happens at all. And it's so sad and disappointing that that's.
So you think
way
Chad,
that it
they had to
goes.
come up with a defense just to have one in court? You don't think he really believed or blamed all of this on you and Alex?
Absolutely. And I know that for a fact because John Pryor came and told me that prior to trial.
He did. He said, this is going to be our defense.
He said, I'm going to blame you, and Chad doesn't want me to, and he wants you to know that. And this is the kind of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that nobody sees, that nobody knows what's going on. There's so much stuff going on that you wouldn't even believe all the things that go on. The experts that are being paid, the things that are going on. We got this expert, we paid him $1 million to say the opposite of whatever your expert's going to say. Like, what do you mean they paid him? The state paid an expert $1 million retainer to say whatever the opposite of what our state, what
in
our witness
Arizona or Idaho?
in Idaho was what our witness is going to say. And the attorneys told me this, and I'm like, are you kidding?
But
Like,
you didn't have any witnesses.
we did. Yeah, in the buildup, we did.
But then
We absolutely
you didn't
did.
call him.
16 and 7, the little boy had autism. And the girl was 16, but she didn't like Lori's husband. So Lori's husband and brother killed the 2 kids and buried them on her husband's property. And then they killed her. They killed her husband, and then they killed her kids. Then she got remarried.
Well, there's reasons for that there's strategies involved, there's things going on, and you have no control when you have attorneys.
And that's
They're
why,
doing it how they want to do it.
and that's why you wanted to be your own attorney.
There's several reasons.
CNA, but look her up. This story is wild.
The number one reason was because they wanted me to sit here for 5 years while they got to know the case. And I wanted a speedy trial.
Can we go back to Hawaii? When I first met you and Chad.
And we didn't meet. You just put a microphone in my face.
Okay, when I put
Now we've met.
We have met, you're right. Why didn't you just tell me where the kids were?
Because I was not ready to talk about it at all at that point. I was just not ready. It was very traumatic and I was not ready for any of that.
Are you ready to talk now?
I have talked about it already, yeah. I feel like a lot of things have happened in these last 5.5 years to give me strength through that tragedy that happened with my children. And I've been a lot more open in being able to talk about it now, and through therapy also, like some post-traumatic stress therapy, because it's traumatic. And I'm living in here with some beautiful, intelligent, smart women. And had I never come to Arizona, and I know God put me here for a purpose, because I didn't think Arizona was going to come and get me. In fact, I think you and I had a talk about that, because there was an article that came out in Idaho saying that Arizona was not going to come and extradite me until all my appeals were finished. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And I think, and then my
it's
appeals...
like the next day that you were gone.
Yeah, the next day they came and got me. And my appeals attorney was supposed to come, he had an appointment that day when they came to get me to drive down from Boise to Pocatello for us to have a meeting. And they didn't even tell him I was gone. Like, I was just gone that day. They came the next day. So I didn't think they were coming.
You mentioned a tragedy, and you said that this has all been a family tragedy.
Yes.
And it has been a huge tragedy.
Absolutely.
All of
Absolutely.
4 juries have said you and Chad and Alex caused the tragedy.
Yeah. That's the judicial system.
But how do you argue with that if all of this evidence came out that showed, that you, Chad...
The only evidence that ever came out is the evidence state wanted to put forth.
Well,
they manipulate the evidence to make it look however they want. And guess who helps them? The media helps them, because from day one, when someone called you, okay, day one, whether it was Detective Hope or Detective Hermosillo, I'm not sure, called you and said, hey, Nate Eaton, this is going to be the biggest story of your life. And they got that information from Heather Daybell. And Heather Daybell and Detective Hoper are connected, right, because their kids got married. And they called and she said, oh, I have a story for you. These people killed their spouses so they could get married, which was totally a rumor, totally untrue. And then you ran with it. And you got famous from it. And everybody knows what happened from there, right? So that's the way it goes. So the media put out their narrative. They kept on with it. The state went along with it. The state leaked stuff to the media to say what they wanted.
What's false about the narrative?
Oh my gosh, everything.
Your children were found dead in Chad's backyard. That's not wrong. Tylee was chopped up and burned. That's not wrong.
No, that's all mixed up. That wasn't.
I saw photos of JJ wrapped in plastic and duct tape. That wasn't wrong.
Okay. I understand what you're saying of those facts. Those facts in and of themselves are wrapped around a whole lot of untruth.
About how they ended up there.
Correct.
So if Tylee killed JJ and then felt bad and committed suicide, how did she die first?
She didn't.
She didn't?
That's part of their whole fake narrative.
Who burned her and chopped her up?
That's part of everything that they were doing. So I don't really want to get into all of those details with you, because you obviously are very set in your mind. I'm not here to change people's minds.
I want you to change my mind. I'd love to hear any evidence or facts you have that might make me think, you know what, they have it wrong, but I haven't heard anything otherwise.
That's because you've been pushing this narrative for 5.5 years. You're not telling me that your mind is not set on what it is already?
Minds can change.
They could change,
right,
if they're open to change.
Right.
Okay, so miracles are on the way. And you remember I asked you to watch a movie?
Yes, Evan Almighty.
I did. And did you watch that movie?
I did.
And did you identify yourself with the reporter in that movie?
I don't know if I identified myself with. Did you identify him with me?
Yes, absolutely.
So what does that mean?
Okay, so when did the reporter change his mind?
Remind me.
When he was floating in the flood on the ark. Okay, not until God showed the miracle did his mind change. His mind was like, this is a crazy guy. He thinks he's like Noah. Why are you so crazy? He's pushing the narrative, right? He pushed the narrative, pushed the narrative, pushed the narrative. And then the flood came. And he's the first one screaming. And he's screaming and he's running for the ark because he had been pushing this narrative the whole time. Right? This fake, false narrative that this guy was crazy, that God didn't talk to him, that all these things have happened, right? That these weren't God things that happened, okay? So then he's the first one to get on there screaming, and when he's floating down the river on the flood is when his mind was changed. So when you're open to changing your mind, I will be happy to enlighten you to the things of God.
Well, I would love to hear
I'm
what
sure
you
you
have to
would.
say. I wish we had more than 30
I wish
minutes.
we had more time too, because
Okay.
we could really get into it.
A couple of more questions for you, and then I know that you have some things you want to say. The night before Alex died, he told Zulema, "I think I'm their fall guy." Was he?
No, absolutely not. And I don't think he ever said that. I watched Zulema go through probably 13, 14, 15 hours of detectives grilling her. I've watched the interviews. I've watched them all. And I watched her be berated by them, threatened by them, that they're going to arrest her, that she had a part in this, that she's a co-conspirator, and all this stuff until they got her to say exactly what they wanted her to say. And she made that up. She made up a lot of stuff. And I felt bad for her because I didn't want her arrested, because she wasn't part of any conspiracy, because there wasn't any conspiracy. And I felt really bad for her. I do love Zulema.
Did you and Chad have anything to do with Alex's death?
No, absolutely not. We were very surprised. No.
What were you and Chad and Alex doing in the storage unit, moving the tire and the seat back and forth on the day that Brandon was shot at and the day after?
So that's so.
She's not Canadian. She's from Idaho, Utah. She's from Utah, where all the Mormons are. She, never mind.
That is, so there was stuff in my garage that I was starting
She's probably Neil's cousin.
to move into the storage unit. That's what we were doing.
Just
And so I
kidding.
moved that stuff in there.
The tire on the Jeep?
I moved stuff that had been in there. It was just sitting in there. It had been sitting in there. So I didn't have enough room to park. So I couldn't carry it. It was heavy. So I had Chad help me put it in. And the next day, Alex was like, "Where's all that stuff in the garage?" And I was like, "I went and put it in the storage unit." He's like, "Oh, I need that." So we went and got it. And that was it.
Can you see how, let's say you're not here, let's say you're at home and you find out about this story and you do all your research, you go through all the court documents, you watch the trial, and you're watching another woman going through exactly what you're going through. Can you see how it sounds kind of crazy what you're saying? Like the fact that this was all a coincidence, or you were just moving stuff in and out?
Yeah, because the narrative has trained the people.
But
The
if you
narrative
did
has
your
trained
own
the people.
research,
The narrative has trained the people.
I think Neil fell asleep on his keyboard.
I have people come up to me all the time in the jail. "I know everything about your case. I've watched everything." And they have every fact wrong.
but aren't you in isolation? Are you able to talk with other inmates?
Yeah, you have no idea what it's like in there. Okay, I'm in max security. I'm in PC, which I didn't choose to be, but they put me in there for safety reasons.
Tell me what PC means.
So, protection.
Okay.
Yeah, you have
Protective
to-
custody.
Protective custody, yes.
Okay.
And so I'm in a max pod with all the other women that are max. So there's like 8 women in my pod that are facing the death penalty. Okay, we're all in rooms in there, and we are all in there 23 hours a day, and we get 1 hour out a day to take a shower and clean our rooms, and that's how it is in there. But all of our doors have openings, so we can talk to each other even through the doors, and so yeah, so I'm not isolated. But when I am transported to court, like for my 2 trials, right, I'm with the women all day long that don't normally see me. So I'm friends with everybody in my pod, but other women will shout out to me that, "Oh, I know everything about you. I know everything about your story." And they've been so indoctrinated by the media and their narrative that they put out. And nobody was asking me what's happening. Nobody asked Chad
I tried
what was
to.
happening. Well, would you have listened then? You have to.
Absolutely. I wish you
You
and
need to be on the boat, Nate. Are you on the boat yet? Because when you're on the boat, Nate, I am going to be happy to share all this stuff with you, because miracles are on the way.
I wanted to
Miracles are on the way. And when you're on the boat, that's why I sent you that last
video.
message. Well, I sent you the last message saying, when you're on the boat, you'll be ready.
So
When you're on the boat.
you say Jesus is your friend.
Absolutely.
Does he support cheating on your spouse?
We weren't cheating.
Does he support killing your husband?
I didn't kill anybody, ever.
Killing your kids?
I didn't kill anybody.
Killing
as you
your
know.
boyfriend's wife?
Okay. Was I in Hawaii when Tammy died? How did I kill? Are you going to explain that to the world now? How did I do that?
Using your kids' money while they're dead.
Okay, all that is messed up too.
How
That's
did
all
you
lies.
how did you rent that unit in Hawaii?
That's
With what
all
money?
lies. Chad rented it. I did not
Chad
rent
didn't
it.
have any money until Tammy died.
Chad rented it with his own money.
Okay.
Chad was an author and a publisher and had his own company.
So
that's what I'm saying.
He
You're
made $30,000 a year. With
No,
that
but you're
company.
giving up facts that you don't. You're giving up whatever the state put up. They don't put up the whole story, Nate.
And that's-
they just put up tiny pieces to put together their own narrative. That's it. You don't know anything about our.
Is she trying to red pill this guy? Or is she just using everything the right has said about the media?
Lives, or how they were, or what we were doing in the temple,
Yours-
what we were doing in the temple every single day.
While you were in the temple, while Tammy was still alive, you were in the temple with Chad.
Several times, yes.
Right. So he's married to Tammy.
Correct. Tammy came to the temple with us too.
The three of you.
At some points, yes.
How many times?
Probably twice.
When is this narrative going to come out? When are you saying the full story is going to come out? Like your side, what really
So
happened?
I'm writing it. And I'm going to write out every single thing from beginning to end so that people can really understand, because you can't understand what happened with Tylee and JJ unless you understand what happened to Tylee in her life. You have to know Tylee's whole story from beginning to end. And when you know what happened in Tylee's life, you start to understand. The understanding, the lights click on. But nobody has said that. This lady got up in Idaho. It was 1 year after.
That's where
I had
she's
been arrested,
from.
and it was going to be
Idaho.
Tylee's birthday.
That's where she's from, Idaho.
And there was a lady in Idaho Falls, and they were having some kind of vigil, and it was on the news because I was in a pod by myself at Madison County, right? And I'm watching the news, and this lady comes on, and she says, oh, it would have been Tylee's 18th birthday because she died 2 days before her 17th birthday. And she said, it would have been Tylee's 18th birthday today. And if Tylee were here, she would be out with her friends, and she would be singing and dancing, and she would be doing all these things. And this is a lady who has never met Tylee, never knew her, never knew anything about her life or our life. And I was like, do you know how many of Tylee's birthdays we spent in the hospital with her screaming in pain while she's on morphine, and the morphine isn't enough to take away the pain?
Wait. Are you really blaming this all on Tylee?
No, absolutely not. I'm saying Tylee had a really hard life, and people don't understand.
So how does that tie into her death and your son's death and Charles being shot and Brandon being shot at and Tammy's death?
Okay,
Her
all
illness.
those things connected, right? It's a domino effect. So in 2017,
You should have heard what she said at her sentence.
was told by the Lord that I was going to become like Job and lose everything. Will I do this job if I lose everything? And so this domino effect of things happened. This is all the Lord's doing. And guess what? He's going to come forward and tell it all. And I don't have to. But I am writing it all down for posterity. I am writing it all down because you know what he told me? You know what Jesus told me? He said, this is going to be real good scripture reading in the future. So if you
Look, see, Jesus did not say a fucking thing. This is the shit I'm talking about. Jesus who? This shit I'm spitting. I'm not even a do, but I'm fucking spitting. Look.
You go back and you read the scriptures and you find all these stories that were going on, what do you think is going to happen? These are the last days, right? We believe that. You believe that, right?
When can I get a copy of this? Because I want to read it.
But you're going to, the whole world's going to get to read it. I'm working on it. I work on it every day. Jeff's like, what are you doing in there all day? I was like, I'm writing. It's coming to me. I'm writing.
When you were on trial in Idaho, didn't you say that Jesus was going to be back before the end of that trial?
Okay, who said I said that?
I'm asking you, did you say
No,
that?
absolutely
You never said
not.
that.
I have never, Chad has never, we've never given a date or a time. The prophet,
Where'd July 20th
somebody
come from?
made that up and put it on there. I have never said it. Chad has never said it. We've never had a date. We're going with what the prophet says. When President Nelson gets up and says, these are the last days, we need to prepare for the second coming. We need to gather Israel on both sides of the veil. That's what we were doing. That's what we were working on. And we wait for his timing. The Lord has his own timing. He's never early. He's never late.
Why has
His
Chad been
timing
excommunicated?
is great. So I think that was false too. That was mean. That was mean.
To excommunicate him?
Absolutely.
Are you still a member?
As far as I know.
Okay. So Lori, if you could go back 6 years
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
June of 2019,
Okay.
would you change anything that's happened over the past 6 years?
Oh, that's a good question, Nate. I don't think I could because
could.
we were foreordained to do this mission, right? The Lord is using Chad and I right now, and this is what He's told us, as instruments in His hands. What do you think He's trying to teach the people, especially His people? His church. What do you think He's trying to teach His people right now?
It's
When
not
He
His church,
separates
you
the
crazy
wheat from the tares.
bitch.
He has to have an earthquake. It has
What
to
is
be
he
so
doing?
detrimental. It has to get everybody's attention. Our case has done that. And what is He doing with that divide? He calls it, you know what Jesus told me? He calls it the great divide. What do you think He's doing
No,
with
it's
it?
not, you crazy
I don't
bitch.
know, but you've
He's teaching people not to judge. Don't judge something. You weren't there. You don't know what happened. Don't
God did
judge.
not
That's
tell
what He's
her
doing.
that.
And He's separating the
She's
wheat
saying
from the tares
Jesus
right now
told
in
her
His
that.
own house. And He's using Chad and I to do it.
So what if you end up going to Pocatello?
Jesus is using killing her children as a lesson for the world. Jesus never fucking said that. As a matter of fact, Jesus said, if you hurt one of these children, you're going to be catapulted into a shark tank with pedophiles.
In a few weeks
Yes.
and spending the next 30 or 40 birthdays
Right?
there behind bars.
That would be God's will, but I'll tell you right now, that's not going to happen.
It's not
It
gonna
is
happen.
not going to be 20 or 30 years. No, it is not going to be 20 or 30 years. I will testify to that right now.
So if it's not, how about we meet every year on your birthday and we do a follow-up interview and you can give me the timeline?
Absolutely. I don't have a timeline other than what the prophet has said. Did you watch conference? This last conference? Did you watch it?
Are you able to watch it in here?
No, but I was
Did
at
you
the
read it?
prison. At the prison, I was able to listen to it because on your tablet you have AM/FM radio, so you can listen to the
okay.
whole thing. So I got to listen to it the last time before I came. But they did have one. They have one. I think it's a 2023 conference on our tablet here. So I've watched it over and over. But all the prophets, all the apostles, everyone in the LDS church is saying, prepare, gather Israel on both sides of the veil. I was going to the temple. I went to the
You can't gather Israel from fucking Idaho, you crazy bitch. Look, look, look. This is all wrong. She's wrong.
temple every day for like 3 years. I was doing all Charles' family's work. I was doing all my family's work. I was gathering Israel on both sides of the veil. And Jesus came there. That's His house. And He talked to me. And He told me that He needed me to do a mission for Him. And this is what we're doing. And the media has turned it all around. But it was supposed to be. You know, there's always a Judas. And I almost used to think of you as the Judas.
Me? Was I on the dark list?
No, but this is what I'm saying. There's a Judas. People think that Judas is a villain. And Judas is not a villain. You know what Judas was? Judas was a
Jesus
vessel.
told him to do
Judas
it.
was a vessel for God's plan to come to fruition.
Wait
and
till
He
we
told me
get
the other
there.
day, it's coming to
Wait
full
till we get there.
fruition.
God did.
Yes. So when we are, just like He told Noah, who was what? Steve Carell in the movie, right? So God came there and talked to Steve Carell. Is that true? In the movie.
Yeah.
And the media guy didn't believe him, right? This guy's crazy, right? God didn't talk to him, didn't tell him to do it, didn't tell him to build a boat, buy all those lots, make his wife mad, spend all his money, build a boat because that whole thing was going to get wiped out, right? So God told me lots of things, and this is one of the things that He told me. He's using us as instruments in His hands to separate the wheat from the tares.
Did you ever think...
And people are choosing. Do you know how many people have left the church over our case? Which, what does our case have to do with the church? Nothing. Has nothing to do with the church. We're not against the church.
Did you ever think you'd have the title of convicted serial killer?
No, do I?
Well, for people,
I mean, I guess you could technically say that, but everyone in the world knows that I didn't hurt anyone. I've never hurt anyone in my whole entire life.
well,
No, you
years
used your
ago,
vagina
everybody
to
I've
do
talked
it,
to, your
crazy
friends,
bitch.
family, say you were a great mom, so much fun, loved to dance, loved music, loved to travel. You were the light of the party. And here we are in a jail. How did you get from there to here?
God put me here for His purpose. And so you know who he needs? He needs somebody who's the life of the party, somebody who teaches the girls how to work out, somebody who teaches the girls how to have fun and dance and do all those things in this, the worst jail in the country. He needs somebody to come in to the worst jail in the country and strengthen these women. And I'll tell you what happened. We used to have this wonderful lady, and she used to come in, and she's from mental health. She used to come in on Tuesdays, and she'd be down there, and she's blonde, and she's really cute, and she's really fun. She's bubbly like me. And she would come down there, and she'd try to get the girls to work out and give them coping mechanisms and talk to them about stuff like that. And half of the girls didn't like her. They thought she was annoying or waking her up and stuff like that. Because you know why? She wasn't one of them. She wasn't one of them. But you know what I have? I have 7 lifetimes. I have worse
So you're on your
punishments.
7th life now?
No. I'm saying I got 5 life sentences in Idaho.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah.
I've got another one here and another one here
I was
pending.
talking about the multiple probations.
No, I'm talking about
your sentences for...
I'm
right.
sentenced to 7 lifetimes right
Right.
now, basically.
Why didn't
right?
you tell all this to the police?
So,
Why didn't you tell them all this when you were arrested? Explain this to them. You know, God's told me to do this. Give your defense.
really? What happens to people when they say God told them to do something? They lock them up.
Well,
I'm locked up.
well
That's
whatever
it.
the reasoning, if you really did think Tylee was responsible for this, why don't you tell the police? She had chronic, pancreatitis. JJ had autism. All these things.
All of these things.
Why didn't
she
you tell
was
the-
sexually abused by her dad from the time she was 3 years old and forced by family court to go to him for 10 years. You don't think that was hard on her?
I'm
She
sure-
was in the hospital
Right.
all the time. She
Why
had
not tell the
chronic
police
pain.
this? Why not tell the police all this?
At the very beginning, or what are you talking
Whenever.
about?
I don't think you've ever talked to a cop, you?
You know when I called the cops? I called the cops 2 times in my life. Guess what happened to me? I called the cops when I was pregnant with Colby, and his dad had beat me up, and I had a black eye, and I was thrown down the stairs, and I was 8 months pregnant. You know what they did? Nothing. They did not
I
help me.
doubt that.
And the second time I called the cops is when Colby was 10 years old. And we were at church, and we came in the car home, and he told me how Joe had molested him. And he didn't want the same thing to happen to Tylee. She was only 3 years old. Okay? I called the cops. And guess what I did? I called them and I said, hey, this stuff happened. I don't know what to do. They said, we don't care. Call the county where it happened. So I
No.
called that county. And I told them the whole story, like my son just came to me, he's 10 years old, this happened, blah, blah, blah. They said, we don't care. Call the county where the perpetrator is living. So I called that county and I said, this is what happened. And nobody would talk to us. And then the county finally called me back where it happened, where we had lived previously. And they said, okay, come in tomorrow, bring the kids in and we'll forensically interview them. Okay? So we did all that. I did everything that the cops asked me to do. And then when I was in there, they said, after they met with Colby, they interviewed him for 45 minutes, they interviewed Tylee, they came out, they said, Colby met all the criteria we used to prosecute, and we're going to prosecute him, and we're going to keep your kids safe. And then they did nothing. And Joe hired a criminal attorney, and they did nothing. And he never got indicted, and nobody ever even looked him in the eye and said, did you rape your children? And for 10 years, the judge told me that if I didn't take Tylee to him every other weekend, and 30 days in the summer, and every Thursday night, that she would put me in jail. If I was late for one visitation of dropping her off at a dad who was raping her in the middle of the night, that I would be put in jail if I didn't abide by that.
Did you have anything to do with Joe's death?
No.
Did
Joe-
Alex?
No. We didn't even know. We were living in Hawaii. We had come back. Tylee was forced to go to him for 10 years by the courts. Hated it. Came home and cried, screamed, kicked, hit Colby, hit Cole, hit Zach, scratched him, yelled, threw things through the walls, was a nightmare, had night terrors, never slept at night. Tylee never went to sleep before 3 o'clock in the morning. She's 5 years old. She can't go to sleep. I have to stay in bed with her till 3 o'clock in the morning rubbing her back because she can't sleep because bad people wake you up in the middle of the night to do bad things to you, Mommy. And so Tylee was a nightmare. Charles thought she was a brat. I didn't discipline her. Then I was in the hospital with her watching her scream and writhe in pain while she's on morphine because it doesn't work.
I've interviewed several jurors. You may have seen the interviews.
I haven't seen any juror interviews, none.
And-
I have no access. I'm in here 23 hours a day. I'm in max security. We don't have access to anything.
Well, they've
so I haven't
said-
seen anything for a year and a half since I've been over here.
They've said they were disappointed that they wanted to hear from you, that you
Yeah.
didn't have a defense, especially in Idaho.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If I get up on the stand and Trina Kay's sitting there, or
Rob
what's her
Wood.
name? Lindsay Blake, Rob Wood, right? And they're sitting there. Are they going to let me tell Tylee's story on the stand? You know they're not. They're going to object every 2 seconds.
If it's relevant to
They're
the
never,
case.
I'm writing it out. No, they won't. Because they don't want me to tell that story because it's opposite of their narrative. It crushes their narrative.
But
it crumbles their narrative.
But you,
it's never going to be what it is.
As a defense attorney,
Yeah.
you present your defense. So you would have witnesses that would come in and would testify to the things you're saying and would give
I
evidence
love it,
to
Nate.
that.
You're just as naive as I was, and I love it. Because guess what? I found out as a defense attorney. This is what happened with Judge Boreski. This is what happened. They don't let you put on a defense. Do you know how many motions I had on, or not motions, do you know how many exhibits I had on to get ready for us to present our case for the first trial?
How many?
We had 33 exhibits. We put them up there. Trina Kay went up there. She gets to look at all your exhibits, right? This is how it works in law. She gets to look and see what all our things are, what we're putting up. Guess what I had? I had about 5 interviews with one of the cops who said, I have to get Lori on something. I have to find something to charge her with. I have him saying this on video.
Which cops?
Okay, Detective Moffat. Guess what happens? So I have 4 of those are my exhibits. I'm waiting for Detective Moffat to get on the stand. The state says they're gonna put on Detective Moffat. Guess who they don't put on at all?
Moffat.
Detective Moffat. They go around you, and then the judge didn't let me put in one exhibit, not one.
What if you had
He didn't
waived-
let me put one exhibit on.
What if
not
you had
one.
waived your right to a trial, though, and given your legal team another year or so to go through all of that? Don't you think that would have helped your case?
No, not at all. Because guess what my team said? They said he wouldn't have let us put it on either. There's so many jobs, so much political aspiration going on behind the scenes in a high-profile case. There is no way in heaven that they were going to let me get up there and win as a pro per client. Because you know what? It's like a virus in here. Do you know these girls that are treated so bad by their defense teams that are making $1.5 million a year while they sit here for 8 years, 10 years waiting to go to trial? There's girls in here that have been in here for 10 years. Do you know what happens when you have a toothache in this jail? They pull out your teeth. So tell me how it's not prejudicial for you to go into trial with 5 of your teeth missing and you look like a homeless person and the jury's judging you, right? And because you've been sitting in a jail that doesn't have any dental for you for 8 years waiting to go to trial.
You mentioned a virus. Were you really sick?
Oh, I was so sick. Yeah, I really was sick.
You weren't putting it on a little bit in the wheelchair?
Not at all.
Putting your head on the table in the courtroom? You were really feeling sick?
I tried so hard not to throw up in court. Jeff can attest. So Jeff had the same virus I had. We had been working till like 8 o'clock at night getting ready for trial. The next day when I went Thursday, he calls in sick. He's sick in bed, can't lift his head, he's throwing up. Okay, Friday at trial, we were picking a jury. I threw up at lunch and told the judge, I was like, oh no, I must have the same thing Jeff had. Jeff missed my whole trial because he was sick for 10 days in bed. Was so sick. I've been incarcerated for 5.5 years. I've only ever been sick one other time, and that was like a really severe headache that I thought may have been COVID or something for like 10 days. I've never been this sick. And you don't have any access to anything. Like, you don't have access to medicine or food or anything that you need. I was so sick. I had an infection. I had to get on antibiotics. And the medical here is ridiculously horrible. They did a test on me. We're supposed to give me antibiotics. They didn't give it to me for a week. I didn't start them until a week later than I should have started them.
Do you feel bad about anything that's happened? Do you have any remorse, any apology, anything?
Bad about anything that's a really broad question.
It is a broad question. About the past 6 years. Do you feel bad about it?
Do I have bad feelings about anyone?
Not bad feelings. Do you personally feel bad or feel some remorse for the victims in these cases?
None of the people are victims. So
are you the victim? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
I'm not saying I'm a victim at all. I'm not saying that at all. I'm an instrument in God's hands. The victims that you call victims are not victims. Tammy died of natural causes.
The coroner disagrees with that. The coroner
Which
said-
coroner are you talking about? The one
Brenda
state put
died.
on?
Brenda died, the county
Okay.
coroner,
Okay.
who said she was asphyxiated. So aren't her kids victims?
Okay, no. Do her kids feel like the victims? No, they don't. They understand the truth. But let me
What
tell you
about her
something.
siblings?
Let me tell you something about Brenda Dye for a second. Let's go back to that because you said the coroner, and that is not even a true
She
statement.
originally ordered it as natural causes, you're right.
Oh, thank you, Nate. A fact, a
then
true
they
fact.
Then they
Okay.
exhumed her body the day before Alex died, which
Okay.
looks suspicious with Alex's death. They exhumed her body, and they said, no, she had the marks.
Did you hear what you just said?
What?
Looks suspicious. Who exhumed her? Why did they exhume her when she had a natural death?
When this is over, we're gonna get ready to go to sleep.
So you're saying,
Why did they exhume her when she had a natural death? What was the explanation for exhuming her when she had a natural death from the coroner? The coroner said it. Why?
because you and Chad were under investigation and they thought that you all might have killed her.
Why? Because of Heather Daybell and what she said at the very beginning and called you up to say? That's
Heather-
exactly where you're getting
Heather
it.
Daybell
That's
did
where
not
you're
call me.
getting
Heather
it.
Daybell
I
did-
didn't say she called you. She called you through
I
Detective
didn't talk to
Hope.
Detective Hope at all.
Did you talk to Hermosillo?
I don't remember talking to Hermosillo. The tip I got when you were in Hawaii was from none of those people.
It was before we went to Hawaii. It's before you went to Hawaii. How'd you get a
We-
tip before you showed up in
we-
Hawaii? You obviously had a tip before you
We
showed up
found
in
out
Hawaii.
about this case
Yeah.
when the police sent out a news release. And then somebody random, I still to this day don't know, and I swear to you, to this day, we got a Facebook message from an anonymous account with a GPS location of where you and Chad were. I
Someone
swear to
did
you.
not. No, you were in an interview with someone. I did see a tiny little piece of an interview. I think you had Hermosillo and someone in an interview, and they were saying, didn't someone call you up and say, this is going to be the biggest story of your life, Nate Eaton?
Oh, a police detective did tell me that, yeah. But it's not.
Who was it?
It's not the people that you named. It's a source. So
You're not going to tell me your source, but you know everything about me,
back
but
to
you're
the
not going to
question.
tell me your source.
There's a lot I don't know about you, Lori. Back to the question of you don't feel bad. You're saying none of these people are victims.
I feel
Kay
bad,
and Larry
of
aren't
course.
victims. Brandon's not a victim.
No. No. I'm not saying that people haven't had hard things happen to them in their life. Everyone has hard things happen to them in their life, right? The judicial system plays up the victim thing pretty big, right? We've seen it happen. The people who lost their children, I lost my children. I lost them.
But people, because of what you did.
What did I do to them?
You arranged with Alex to conspire to kill them.
No, I did not.
And
Absolutely
Chad.
not. Absolutely
Did you
not.
know that they were in Chad's backyard?
Absolutely
Or
not.
did I?
No, I did not know that. I did not know where they were. Alex told me that he was put them in a safe place. That's what he
So
told
did
me.
you find out at the court at the first trial? Is that the first time you'd seen those autopsy photos?
Yeah, I hadn't ever seen them. I never looked at them before that.
Okay.
Because that's not how I picture my children. I know where they are in heaven. I know what they're doing. They have come to visit me. So I don't see them as bones. If anybody dies and you go to a cemetery and you dig them up 9 months later, you're not going to like what you find. It's not going to be
They're
pretty.
not going to look like that, Lori. They're not going to
I'm
look
saying
like Tylee.
anybody isn't going to look like that. I'm saying once your spirit leaves your body and goes to heaven, okay? Because I died, right? When I was giving birth to Tylee, I died. And my spirit left my body. And guess what happened? When you're out of your body and you're your real self and your eternal self and who you are, you could care less what happens to your body. I've had that experience. Chad's had that experience. There's others that have had that experience. So the body dies. Everyone's dying, right? We're all going to die. Our bodies are all going to go back to the earth where they were from. And we carry on. We move on. So my children are in their eternity. They're doing well. They're happy. They're moving on. They don't want me to be sad. They came to me because they don't want me to be sad. They said, Mom, you didn't do anything wrong.
I've got one last question for you.
Sure.
There's a lot of people that say I shouldn't have interviewed you. Well, they don't know I've interviewed you, but they say that you don't deserve a platform because of what you've done, what you've been found guilty of. Do they have a point?
In this unfair judicial system, anybody could be found guilty of anything. And I would tell to the people, I would say, be careful who you're judging, because anybody could end up in orange. You could be living your little life in the suburban bubble like I was, and anybody could end up in orange. Anybody, because they can turn this on anybody. There's women in here, beautiful, smart, intelligent women that have had their children die, and they're family tragedies, and they're not crimes, and the state has turned them into crimes, and they're not crimes. And what I got accused of and convicted of, just like the 3 Nephites, what crime did they commit that they got 7 death penalties for? What crime did they commit that they got 7 death penalties for? I'm in good company. I'm in good company, and in heaven I will be in their company. And I didn't do anything that deserves this kind of punishment. But God did want me here. He did want me in here with these women. And He wanted me to lift and strengthen women and uplift them in these family tragedies. There's women in here that have suffered the same things I have. They've been here for years, waiting to go to trial. They haven't even gone to trial yet. But it's an unfair system, and they probably will get convicted. And then we'll see each other at the prison, and we'll uplift each other there until Jesus comes. And when He comes, He's going to set everybody in the prisons free. And all those who are unjustly and wrongfully convicted like me and like these others, we
What?
will be walking free on this earth and we will be walking with Jesus, and that's what we're going to do.
Okay, I have 15 cards, but I'm getting the wrap. So thank you, Lori, for chatting with me, and maybe we can chat again
Maybe
another
we can
time.
do it again sometime.
All right. So, what did you think? Is anybody still awake? Everybody fell asleep on their keyboard. Well, okay. I want to tell everybody I'm about to go give my pillow some head and my sheet some ass and have. Oh, I am so tired. I think, no, CNA. But it's time to give the pillow some head and the sheet some ass and have the sweetest dreams ever. Hold on. It is open. All right. Play outro music. I will figure out how to do that. Just give me like 2 days. I'll figure it out by Sunday. But I can't play any YouTube music because I'm already on a warning from Facebook for like the next 3 days. It's over. So I can't do anything to fuck it up. But we do have to go to bed. I can't click the link while I'm on live. I can't do it while I'm on live. But we could like goodbye. Something like that. I got outro music playing in my head. Good night, you guys. I love you so much. Now, give the pillow some head and the sheet some ass. and have the sweetest dreams ever. Love you.